Okay, sorry everybody, technical difficulties here. I gotta make sure we're there. We go. Looks like we're live again. All right, so sorry about that, YouTube. You got cut off there. So what do? Our olive oil lamp is not working very well. So what do I have here? I have pure paraffin lamp oil and a 1/2 inch wick. So this does a fantastic job of illustrating different fuels and different size wicks. So what do you have here? You have a bigger wick, fuel level is much lower, and it's working just fine. What am I going to do? I'm going to try filling my fuel level a little bit higher on my olive oil. I also have fiberglass, also for paraffin lamp oil. Maybe we'll add some, this was some spare paraffin I had in here. I'll do this in the sink. I'll be right back. All right, so this is the lamp you might remember from our live streams, gosh, many months ago. I have not advanced. You still see it's a little bit charred, I hope. Let's see how this one's going to work. So why am I doing this? Because the olive oil is making me look bad on my live stream. Yeah, that one's working just fine too. Interesting. Put this out here a little bit. So what am I going to do? I am going to fill up my olive oil all the way to the top because it's making me look bad here. But as you can see, paraffin lamp oil is a fantastic fuel that works great and won't make you look bad. So let us eat some lettuce. All right, let me. So now we have, yeah, that paraffin lamp oil is beautiful. That's amazing to see that. So I'm going to take this off camera for a minute. And when you come back to camera, we're going to have olive oil clear to the top and see if that will make all the difference. All right. This is an olive oil lamp filled clear to the very tip top. We're going to see, can you use olive oil, or has olive oil been 86'd and is an unusable fuel? You know what I didn't do is I didn't put a couple of drops down the top before I lit that. Hopefully it won't be necessary. So the next thing we will do to work on our olive oil lamps, which are defying us, is we will fill it up with a couple drops on the top, although I think we're finally going to be okay. So you know what's awesome about this? I should have done this from the very beginning, but you live and learn, right? We're always learning. The fuel level of my paraffin is way down here, and it has no trouble pulling fuel. This is a 1/2 inch wick pulling 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of fuel, no trouble. I'm probably going to say you could get down to 5 or 6 and still be okay. What do we have here? We have a completely full bottle of olive oil, and now that we have filled it to the very, very, very tip top, it is now appearing to work okay. So the wick diameter and the type of fuel you're using would appear to be critical. And honestly, I think the paraffin lamp oil is just hands down a better fuel. Looking at a side by side of paraffin lamp oil and olive oil. We have paraffin lamp oil down here. Here we're using a 1/8 fiberglass. This is a 3/16 round cotton, which we know does fabulously well with paraffin lamp oil, but appears to be not so happy with olive oil. It's burning, and it hasn't gone down, but you can see the difference between paraffin lamp oil, fiberglass, almost no wick showing, produces a beautiful flame. A lot of wick showing with olive oil, not so much. So what fuel you use is critical, it would appear. So that's why I like doing these live streams. It was a little embarrassing. I should have had these two burning on the first live stream that we did, because the olive oil was not doing very well. But you can see here what a difference, what type of wick you're using, what type of fuel you're using, most importantly, what type of fuel you're using. Olive oil is a tricky fuel. This is working. For as much wick as I have showing here, I think it should be evaporating a substantially larger amount of olive oil, given the fact that this has almost no wick showing and is producing a flame easily twice as tall as the olive oil. So we have olive oil, 3/16. We have 1/2 inch with pure paraffin lamp oil, fiberglass, 1/8 fiberglass, pure paraffin lamp oil. So I think seeing this side by side here, hands down, paraffin lamp oil is a superior fuel to olive oil. But olive oil has its place to be used. Like I said, there are some religious ceremonies which don't require olive oil, but they are considered better when done with olive oil. So yeah, I think we'll let this run a little while longer. I will clean up the mess that I have made on the counter before everybody gets home. Let me close this to give you a little less glare in that shot, hopefully. So yeah, this is a fantastic side-by-side. Really interesting to see how much better paraffin lamp oil performs versus olive oil. So it was not lost. I think it was worthwhile doing. Definitely can say that paraffin lamp oil with probably any kind of wick. We have 1/8 fiberglass, 1/2 inch fiberglass, and I have used paraffin with cotton before, so it's not an issue of cotton versus fiberglass. I really almost wish I would have had an 1/8 inch fiberglass or 1/8 inch cotton I could have shown here. But yeah, it's night and day, the difference between olive oil. It's a high heat cooking fuel, doesn't like to burn. Pure paraffin lamp oil, designed for lamps, meant to be burned in a lamp, and you can see it makes all the difference. All right. That's looking good here. That is amazing. So definitely filling to the top helped, right? Because it is not going out. It's also not burning nearly as fantastically as this is a smaller diameter wick that is burning better because of the fuel. Olive oil, pure paraffin lamp oil. What a difference, right? And then you talk about how high it can pull. What a difference. We were struggling down here, and at the same level, we're doing perfectly fine. Now, granted, this is a thicker wick, but the paraffin lamp oil is pulling no problem, many inches. Whereas you could see we had problems with the olive oil. So it's still burning, but definitely it had to be almost near the top to work properly. So we'll see if the olive oil is going to go out or not. But I can make some judgments by this now that paraffin lamp oil is a substantially superior fuel. If it was a pinch and it was an emergency, you could use olive oil, although you'll be much better off with paraffin. So let this run a little bit longer. Really wish I would have brought over the other two lamps to start it off with. It makes such a difference, huh? To show the contrast of how much more airspace you can pull against with a different fuel, and also probably how much the diameter of the wick makes a difference. So there is literally no wick showing above the height of the glass almost. We are, in a couple areas, there's like a 16th of it showing, but other than that, it is actually at the level or below the level of the glass and really producing an incredible flame. So let's burn a little bit longer and then we'll wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Let's see. Thank you very much for the message. I have my phone kind of hooked up in a cradle here, so I'm not really able to answer and type your message, but thank you very much for the message. So yeah, what do we have here? We're doing a demonstration of how does olive oil work. I can now say not very well. It works. Not nearly as well as paraffin lamp oil. So let's do a roundup in case you just tuned in. We have 1/8 fiberglass burning paraffin lamp oil. I have almost no wick exposed above the level of the glass holder here, and I'm producing probably about 1.5 inch flame. I'm using paraffin lamp oil in this one. It is about 1, 2, 3, almost 4 inches of airspace, and I always recommend you always fill your fuel to the top for best performance. But you'll see 4 inches of airspace you can get away with paraffin. With olive oil, you have to fill it basically to the top, and it still struggles compared to paraffin. Really interesting to see. So there is a reason why professional fuels were designed for wicks, I would say. So we'll let this go a little bit longer, and then we're going to wrap it up. But I really like to do live streams. We don't pull any punches. You can see I was struggling with the olive oil the whole time. Really had to be filled basically to the top. The one thing I will say if you're making a wine bottle or something like that, any sort of a lamp, you have to fill your fuel to the top. And that is going to be the first step to getting the best performance, is having your fuel all the way to the top. That will eliminate the problem that you don't have fuel making it. The next thing you have to do after filling it to the top, you have to put a couple of drops down the top because it needs to be wet from top to bottom. And then other than that, they go. You can definitely see that the paraffin lamp oil goes a lot better than the olive oil. So we'll let this run for about 2 more minutes, and I'm going to say goodnight after that. All right, so I think we're going to do a couple last words to wrap it up. I will give that olive oil is very efficient. You saw when I put a couple of drops on the very top, we got a lot of extra flame for about a good minute, minute and a half just by having a couple extra drops of fuel. So olive oil is definitely efficient. I will give it that. What I don't like about olive oil, it would appear you have to fill it almost to the very top of your container. Olive oil is very hard to get started. I struggled to start olive oil with a standard lighter, and I ended up just using a creme brulee torch, which was much more efficient. So yeah, olive oil, not a fantastic fuel. Paraffin lamp oil, love it. And I think we could wrap it up here. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. And anyway, we learned a lot. I learned that paraffin lamp oil is a far superior fuel to olive oil. But I had a customer who had sensitivities to odors, very strongly sensitive to odors, and asked me a lot of questions about olive oil. And I answered what I could. And what I couldn't answer, we do with live stream. So yeah, paraffin lamp oil is fantastic. Olive oil, not so much. And it's hard to get lit. So yeah, okay, everybody have a good night. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much to all my customers. I really enjoy doing this. I probably can't properly put into words how much I really enjoy doing this. I have a lot of fun. We're able to do a lot of different things. The kids are able to learn a lot of different things, and it's just a good thing. So thank you very much. I appreciate doing this for you. I appreciate you as customers, and thank you for keeping me in business. And so yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll roll into 2022 with a little more normalcy. And anyway, everybody have a good evening. Thank you. All right, YouTube, thank you very much. We're going to stop the stream right here. We learned olive oil, not as great a fuel as paraffin. It'll work in a pinch, but you have to fill it up to the very top. And in any condition, I don't think olive oil is going to will not perform as well as paraffin lamp oil. So between the two fuels, paraffin lamp oil is far superior.